Want my section because I make more money? Go ahead, I will still make more than you, by usury was thicha by lady. This all happened about 18 years ago. I was a waitress for a village inn. I worked the morning shift because it had the most business. Now this is back when smoking was still allowed in restaurants and we had a smoking section and a non-smoking section. Our seating chart was designed for this in mind and never changed even after the restaurant went full non-smoking. Now on Sunday we had your wonderful church rush that would pack the entire place for hours. So Sunday was totally non-smoking until 3 p.m. On the weekends we would have about 8 servers. This meant that smoking side had 2 while the other side had 6. So if you worked the smoking side you had 10 tables to take care of while the other servers had 4. Management knew I was good at what I did and would always put me in the biggest section on Sunday and I could take care of all 10 of the tables no problem. Now servers always talk about their tips and without fail I always made more than anyone else. This caused anger from some of the newer servers and they said it was because I always got the better section. Management came to me and told me what was going on. That's when we decided on malicious compliance. Okay, you can have my section next Sunday, I will take this small section. But since I am on the other side of the restaurant I will not be able to help you much. I then got to enjoy a less stressful Sunday, did my job like normal, turned my tables and made a ton of money. The other server was running around like crazy and not getting much done. At the end of the shift they learned that they made less than the week before because of how bad they were taking care of their tables, and the church crowd are horrible if you aren't taking care of them right. It was always great to hear the server say you can have your section back, I don't want it ever again. Now this was not a one-time thing, this happened many times over the 5 years I worked there. Every time it happened I still made more money. Every time we would get a new server complain I just smiled and said go ahead, take my section, I could use a break. Karen told me to hang up, so I did, by usury think it might be. So I work for a large electronics company doing sales over the phone, we get a lot of calls daily and take credit card details, to place orders, as well as place finance orders. Since fraud is such a big deal, our company we're taught that only the account holder for the CC or finance account can place an order. Cue Karen calling to place an order for finance, go through everything, get her name/address/number, and payment details. Just before I place the order, she goes, oh, the card's in my dad's name, that's fine right? I tell her no, her dad needs to place the order as he's the account holder. Cue her arguing for about 5 minutes how she's his daughter and I need to finalize this order now. I tell her, I'm sorry but I can't do that, as I've mentioned the account holder needs to place the order. She started cussing me out, calls me a stupid fucking idiot and that I know nothing, and demands I place the order. I've had enough at this point. Since she started swearing and getting aggressive I said I'm sorry, but if you continue to speak to me in such a manner I will terminate this call. Customer says, well, terminate it then. So I did with a okay then, thank you for calling, have a nice day. I heard her go no wait as I hung up on her. God, that felt good. Dead dog wasn't an acceptable excuse to miss work, by user crafty_editor_4155. Another post on the sub, r/anti-work, reminded me of this story. Actually commented this but decided to post it here since I think it fits. Sorry, bad grammar, writing on mobile. So when I was entry level a long time ago, my boss made me come in the day after I discovered my dog dead in my room from choking on something it grabbed and swallowed on my desk. There were obvious signs she panicked before she passed away. Tried to call in a sick day because I had a combo of grief and guilt, but employer wasn't having it. I was only a few weeks into the job so didn't have any sick days, was technically on contract in my probationary phase, and I was fresh off of unemployment and needed this job. Came in visibly sad. Tried to ask to go home one more time. Boss didn't care and told me to man up, it's just a dog, so I was like fuck it and just let my feelings take over. I was openly crying and sobbing at my desk while working on my project and answering emails. This is one of those modern open floor plan offices/design studios with no walls and tiny partitions instead of cubicles, and everyone can see and hear me. I'm literally wiping tears off my face and desk as I work. This is also early 2000s where the term toxic masculinity wasn't coined, so seeing a grown man openly sobbing at his desk like this really threw people off. When asked by co-workers and people passing by what happened, I told everyone what happened to my dog and that I didn't even have a chance to take care of her body, so she was lying in my bed dead wrapped in my blanket until I could get home and figure out her cremation/burial stuff. When they asked why I was even at work, I very loudly stated that my manager didn't think it was an acceptable excuse to miss work. Needless to say, She looked like a monster and I was told by her boss I'd have 2 days paid to mourn and take care of my dog and I shouldn't have had to come in. Edit, didn't realize this post would get so much attention. Also love all the people sharing their stories. This has been an uncharacteristically uplifting post on this sub with mostly warm comments and only one toxic/troll comment that I've counted, haha. No personal mobile phones at work, by user Mruako. Long time lurker. Recently managed to inflict my own little bit of malicious compliance. Enjoy. I, 33M, work in IT cybersecurity, and my work has been on a big multi-factor authentication, the SMS codes from your phone or authenticator apps type thing, push to better secure our systems. As a result, basically every system or software requires a phone to access. Like many other places, my work does not supply phones to its workers unless they are sufficiently far up the leadership chain. Friday, my boss sends one of those directives that manglement bosses always do, to try and be commanding. He tells me that personal device use at work is not permitted, and specifically cites mobile phones as an example. Cue malicious compliance. To comply with the directive, I uninstall all the MFA code applications on my phone that are needed by work, and submit tickets for getting the desktop versions. IT Fulfillment's response? What desktop version? Boss is backpedaling, but it wouldn't matter at this point, as the tokens for the MFA apps are gone. For extra irony, boss rushes approvals for software installs, but gets stuck in the new software approval process he created. End result? I spend Friday browsing the internet while he runs around rushing software approvals for the MFA desktop apps we need. TLDR, boss says not to use personal phones at work. I stop using personal phones at work and can no longer access systems. Boss told me to deep clean the back and to not come to front for any reason, so I did, by user do_bean. I'm a 20-year-old male that works at a very popular restaurant in a very snobby area. My main job is to assist the servers in any way I can so they only have to worry about sweet-talking the customers. I do all the heavy lifting for them, whether it's cleaning their tables, or taking their drinks and food to their tables. I'm doing it and all they have to focus on is making the customers laugh. They get tips that range from $17 to $40 per table while I make $8 an hour and get treated poorly. Enough backstory. Cue the malicious compliance. My manager came up to me in a "I'm better than you" mood and told me to deep clean the floors, ice makers, walls, trash cans, and racks and to not come to the front for any reason. I'm very annoyed at this because none of those things are my job duties. We have a staff that deals with all the cleaning of the back, so it didn't make any sense to have me do it. These tasks would have taken me an hour and a half max, but I was feeling a bit cheeky and decided to really deep clean the back until it was spotless. About 30 minutes later, the same manager comes up to me and tells me that there are 4 tables that need cleaning and 2 other tables just got set and I need to bring their drinks to them. I looked at this man with a stare of a 20-year-old that has no bills to pay and I say, "No, I'm not done cleaning." He looked shocked and responded angrily, "You can finish later, they need help." And I countered with, "No, it's filthy here. We don't want a health inspector to just walk into this filth, do we?" He storms off. Like a toddler that didn't get their candy. 2 hours go by and I'm on my hands and knees scrubbing as if I was working for Chef Gordon Ramsay himself. The same manager comes back again with a smirk and says, "Wow, this looks like it's going to take you all day long. Maybe you should come to the front and help the servers since there's a huge Sunday rush." I replied with, "You know, you might just be right," and I go back to cleaning. He storms off again. Fast forward to 2 minutes before my shift ends. My knees, legs, and fingers are all aching from cleaning. I shuffle my way to the front where my manager has been waiting for me and he says, "You finally decided to come help, huh?" And I look at him without saying anything and clocked out, and then I tell him, "Sorry, I'm not clocked in." I walked out to my car while he was blowing my phone up. I didn't care. I had 5 days off back to back and he can't fire me since I did as he told me to. The moral of the story is, don't think you are better than someone that has nothing to lose. For all the people that have been commenting that he can fire you, yeah, you are right, he could, but he won't do that because I'm the only one that is working the position, and no one has applied to come work at the place for $8/HR. There are more details to the story than what I told, so instead of trying to be smart, just ask, "Why do you say that?" instead of assuming I'm just some entitled kid who thinks they run the world. Thank you for reading.